Don't make me angry. You're not going to, in theory. And it's proven scientifically, it's a fact. You don't like it when I'm angry, especially at you. Or actually, sometimes I think you like it, like get you on, like a bitch or something. Well, still, y'all piss me off sometimes. I'm done pissed off right now. I'm like the Jesus y'all hate, flipping over tables and smashing his fist through a. I'm snarling, bro. I'm circling around dudes in the parking lot, like, do something. And you're not even cheering me on. You're like, why don't you just take it from that man in Alamosa? Your audio sucks, says Giovanni. Giovanni, get in line. I'm busy focused on my dad. No, don't beat up on your dad, bro. He's your dad. He's of the racial type you don't even like. Yeah, but he's your dad. See how you all like to keep positioning your argument in your cock and your fighting stance to keep arguing against me? To keep telling me like I haven't figured things out. I've got it figured out, little boy. You haven't figured it out. You're a slave. You're a trucker who's going to give it all to the court system, where you could have been off grid if you just followed the advice of a shitskin. 5 years ago, you would have been free. But because you don't follow the advice of a shitskin, you think I'm being disrespectful when you're the one disrespecting your ability to even talk to me at this point, which is now gone. So it's all about the ultimatum to the father. We can either do this the easy way, Aziz, or we can do this the hard way. Let's make a deal, buddy. Either Father Darth Vader, I can't believe you're my father. It's Darth Vader. We can do this the easy way, or we can do this the hard way. Either you be the one to tell me about your history, your culture, the beauty of what you came from before your Fantasia was destroyed, or I got to go around you. And I've got to, well, you don't just walk up when you have my history and my style of speaking to your average style immigrant from his place and get respect. They just ignore me. It has to be something like big, like really spectacular, like Letters to My Father. I'm thinking of a big concept, but it's bigger than just those people. It actually includes the whole world. But the theme is addressing, for one thing, the idea of, and some of you should cheer this on that act like you're critical of foreign belief systems and immigrants. It's the idea because they're so alpha male about father knows everything. And yes, I know the last video went out with horrible audio. I know it was the worst, but you deserve it. You deserve it. That's your karma. You got it. That's what that universe did that to you. I know I was watching. The universe did that. It's like, you know what? This person's complaining about audio. Let's just make the audio even worse. Then he'll complain. And the Bluetooth will just make it worse. It's just not going to work out. And also, remember, there's nothing to replace the real authentic voice to voice. That's where the real power is. These microphones do not demonstrate the full quality and spectrum to the power of the voice of the one. Just telling you. And then if I get the right microphone with the right calibration, we're dealing with next level affirmations that might actually be able to change some shit. All right. So going back to father. It all comes down to him being able to be authentic, because on social media, Aziz is all about, oh, I have feelings, my people. Oh, 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 I cry. I cry. I'm kind of putting on the act because it's actually quite sick and sad because I'm crying like my dad alone. And we're both going, oh, we're Sufis, we're alone. Have you ever considered, Aziz, that there's like a demon in your bloodline or attached to you that somehow came about from ancestral abuse to where you're carrying on a dark line of archetypal male domination and control? And you're sitting there going, oh, ah, ah. But since day one, you've been an aggressor in my life. Forget the mother. Forget Carrie. Forget Carrie. You had a right to want to get your marriage right and your child. What you didn't have a right, Aziz, to do was to be malicious to your son, even at age 46, because it's like you're a bunch of like cell phone towers. It's like you're gang stalkers in the way that you can like text and say horrible things and be like, "What have you done with your life?" Stand up for people like you having rights to be in America, and you don't even go like, "Oh." You literally are like, ouch, my balls. You watch football and you believe in various institutions. You're basically a dude who, like other token minorities in America, gets off and makes money oppressing your own people, essentially, Aziz. And because that's where you're at vibrationally, you're not a real Sufi. You're not actually spiritual. You're never going to be proud of me. And then Carrie, who came from, the Nagel line, Nagel, similar to the Nagel family line, Jewish, that is, of Austria, that is believed to be a baking family, I believe. Any hoots, Mama Bear was born into privilege, unlike Giovanni's mom. Mama Bear and she's not really a bear, she's more like a turd. She's more like a creature of some type. Um, she always had money and she never had to work. And so we could see also by studying the mother's experience and me kind of like knowing her thoughts and whatnot, all those good times, all that money helped corrupt her severely. Same thing with Aziz, though. Because Aziz had such a great life, literally, because he had such a great life in the 60s, the 70s, and 80s, he doesn't even identify with the idea of being talented, intelligent, and being cast out. And as I go deeper and deeper into it, because I do deal with supernatural commentary and studies, the real reason Aziz has been so successful and worked for the military is because that organization, that world, and this is why he'll never understand me and always call me an evil person or a conspiracy theorist, even though what I'm saying parallels Sufi belief systems, but because he's not a Sufi, because he's not a real Muslim, because he's not actually spiritual, because he's not Christian, because he doesn't meditate, because he doesn't really pray to the real God, he doesn't know what I'm saying. When they interviewed him and they were recruiting and they're going, let's interview this guy, let's go interview that guy, let's look into his background. Who cares about his fucking son? He fucking hates his son. Let's look at him specifically. And it's not just giving him the test. It's in that place of evil. You have entities, goblins, and all types of corruption. And they have a plan, a master plan, if you will, a new world order, something Aziz doesn't seem to understand. But yet Aziz will post on Facebook in 2020 about a new world order, a China new world order, when it's an article from the London Guardian. But he won't get the point in 2020 when I messaged him going, wait, you called your son, though, a conspiracy theorist for saying that. But then they're linking to the mainstream media when they say it. And you won't talk to your son about your dad. You won't talk to your son about the guy that got you out of jail multiple times in the 1980s in Portland, Oregon. I'd love to know those stories. The father of Zoe Ansari, who lives in Bend, Oregon. So there's just a lot of different ways in which my father, an immigrant who came from somewhere else, had basically a red carpet treatment. That includes help from Carrie's family. There's stories that Carrie's family helped Aziz and his family. These people left me behind. And they developed like pretty severe mental illness that you can move a kid from school to school, month to month, blame that kid for it, and expect that kid to get an education and then blame that child later on, even though we're in the post 9/11 world. When his kids, purebloods, not different, when his kids had an education, had both parents, and were not moved school to school, we weren't put in the situation, and my parents never gave me a chance. Okay. So this is actually a very important conversation. It's gonna shift a little bit off of the main title concept. But the point here is that, and it's not just limited to his culture, but this culture. There's a lot of parents out there that only like their kids when they're young because they're vampires by nature, and they don't actually like their kids when they're older. Kids naturally exert a certain amount of prana. That's why certain people want to become teachers that may not have the best interests because they don't know how to create energy on their own. So what you'll have here is, and that's the dark side of a lot of families. For a lot of families, you're dealing with people that have essentially slaves, essentially that have cattle. And that is honestly the case in many, many circumstances on the planet for people that are stuck in the consciousness of the 666. Does that make sense to you? It's about materialism, physical world, left hand path, all those types of things that I don't represent. Okay. So this content is not for people on that path. And they're not going to vibe with it and they're not going to appreciate my light. They're only going to focus on the negative, and it's very apparent in what they don't say. So we need to wash our hands completely of those overt devils that want to come to us in human form, and completely wash our hands of them and see them for what they are. People that are trying to get our energy and attention, and they will come as friends. And like my father was doing that the other day. He called me up drunk. Oh, son, you have a family, dude. This is heartbreaking to see my dad so mentally ill. He doesn't seem to understand that I've been trying to message him nonstop. for a long time. Like maybe he needs to check his spam folder, but he was in a altered state of consciousness where he may not have known what year it is. And here's what's interesting about it. There's no liaison to get someone kind and loving, maybe as a middle person, to get me and my mom to talk, nor me and my father to talk. In other words, my mother has not spoken positively for anybody to be that third person. She's only talked shit about me. Same thing with Aziz Ansari. Aziz has only spoken ill of me. So I literally gave my dad my cell phone number, 469-753-3741. That's 469-753-3741. And I expect to hear from Mariam Ansari. I expect to hear from Wahid. When I call them on the phone, they sound like a man. They sound, oh, Alex, huh? We're not your father. Why you call us? Ah. And then when I tell that to my father, he calls me hateful. So what they do is and many of you too, you're so damn intelligent that you keep positioning yourselves in these different type of like kung fu positions to keep fighting me verbally that I'm wrong and you're right. You're very, very intelligent and how you craft these arguments that I'm irrational, don't know what I'm saying, don't know where I am, don't know what time it is. And you'll all be of these different racial heratypes and you won't actually like each other. You'll actually talk crap about each other. The Muslim to the Jew to the Christian, the white to this to this. But what unites y'all is the same devil voice and verbiage that I don't know my stuff. And it's actually not true. You're actually wrong. And so Giovanni, my father, my mother, Angelus, Gunner Standard, you all have different physical bodies and attributes and belief systems. But at the end of the day, you have a similar spiel with regards to me basically being crazy, irrational, threatening, just whatever. And you don't actually look at yourselves. None of you are going to go down actually in history in 100 years, whereas I am. I am going down in history, and you should know that by now. If you have any common sense within you, you should know that Alex is going down in history for the things that he said and did, especially if these things and the things that I've written are not destroyed by the Matrix. Okay, and through a tidal wave. And so basically, if there are books, if there are flash drives and it's buried in the ground, and we have things that are in Faraday cages and whatnot, and we have the information basically stored in the same way that we have a seed vault, then they will know my story. So let me get back on track. I like that song from the Breakfast Club, Back on Track. So it all comes down to letters to my father. If we can't talk one on one, and if he can't act in a appropriate manner, I mean, do you want me to show you the text messages? Do you want me to show you our little Facebook exchange? Because I think that people sit behind the scenes are like, well, this guy Alex is just too angry. He's just too irrational. No, 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 no. Nice try, numbnuts. Oh, his energy, his energy. Stop crying like a little prison bitch. My ass. Man, some people sound like they like to take it. So here's what it is, weaklings. If somebody can't deal with me one on one and talk to your son rationally through text message, both my mother and father have basically challenged me to call them out by fucking name. And it won't be the first time. It's not me acting like my parents are dead to me. It's doing what's right. It's doing what's right. So, and overall, what would be the point though of something like that? It would be to stand up for all the other children of fathers like mine that were not able to get any respect for the intelligent things that they did. Okay, let's go ahead and read some of my words here. Okay. Okay, I've been on national radio, but because I care so much, they kicked me off national radio for basically asking people to wake up to certain things and saying that Russia is not our friend and Russia's not our savior and certain things like that. So I've already dealt with reaching the masses by the millions. And I'll tell you, whatever trance like thing they've got going on against certain types of energies or spirits, whatever type of mind control, whatever type of spell, whatever type of lockdown is going on, It is sophisticated and beyond anything you've seen in any movie, Matrix included. They live included. What we have going on right here with the control of the hive mind is beyond Thunderdome. And what does that mean? That means I have to write something like letters to Aziz Ansari, letters to, spelled with an I, letters to my father, in order to get the respect of the regular Afghan community. And it might even need to be translated into Farsi. To talk about what it's like to basically be living in this is the purpose basically of my life story, basically. To basically talk to those people that are here in the West, right? To basically talk to those people that are here in the West, they have family, that have resources, that have these things, they have so much going for them, you know, and to remind them that I've been left behind by the sands of time. I've been doing what I've been doing for 22 years. And unless somebody like my father, like actually gets the actual content out there specifically to his family, to refugee families, to others, then he's not helping. He would be one of those then that's basically taking the money. Basically, um, there's a verbiage that some people use, which is poverty pimps. And it's the idea of, people basically taking money, organizations where they basically get a little cut off the top, you know, maybe being paid a high salary. Maybe it just normalized. Maybe it's not commission. You're just paid a certain amount of money, just basically run people through the. But how is that really helping if you give people a false sense of security when they're resettling in America from Afghanistan and like that? So they're coming in 2020, they're coming in 2021, and you're calling it a conspiracy theory to suggest that Joe Biden wasn't actually trying to help them, but was just maybe giving them a little bit of time. And then you look at what's been happening right now. Afghan refugees have had their money shut off, bro. And they're basically hunting them down through the cell phones that are in their hands. And because they weren't really informed of this, they don't really have an education. They are people that are being deliberately tortured by the people that sign Aziz's paychecks. And so what Aziz is doing is engaging in a cover-up. Aziz, Aziz is engaged in a cover-up. Okay, most families, we're not done yet. I'm not done with you. You sit down. No, no, you're going to listen to me. hmm I'm already talking quietly. Stop your complaining. I don't want to even hear it. You're thinking it, but I don't want to hear it. You're going to listen to this. In America, and probably in the Jewish community and other places, parents typically, when their lives are not in turmoil and they have a home, they typically don't just outcast their child, especially if they're a journalist, if they're a deep thinker. Typically, with white families, when they have a white child, if they have like a child who's like an author, or sometimes there's abuse, but I've just been witness through Hollywood and movies, lots of parents loving their kids. And right now, it's really hitting me hard, guys. I'm not going to cry in front of you, but these kids here are living in basically a Disneyland heaven. Every freedom that they have right now, I never had growing up. You understand what I'm saying? I never got a chance to ride my bike and be free. I never got a chance to have a girlfriend. I never had a chance to have male friends. I was always being screamed at by my parents. And when I did, see, Aziz, this is for you. When I did drive down the street, because I'm going to send it to you, scumbag. You're all scumbags to me now this week because it's eclipse season and the lunar eclipse coming and we're crying it out. Thousands of years of pain coming out in a few days. And most people don't know what's going on, but I know what's going on because it's in the stars, bro. And so I'm telling you, like, I might scare a few people away by going Super Scion, but in writing this book, I'll get the respect of those people. Because I'm telling you, let's go back to the cover up. Facebook has stopped me. The system has stopped me. The media has stopped me. All these other Afghans, immigrants have stopped me along the way from making family. But daddy's the one, and Wahid's the one, and the rest are the ones who should have actually intervened the last 20 years. And I'm telling you, and I am not lying, for 10 years, I've been sending them content behind the scenes. By the way, I'm going to segue real quick and tell you another thing. I am critical of the Muslim community ignoring me. So I'm just saying I'm against the violence towards them because it's the right thing to do. I'm not then saying I want to date them, marry them. They see no value in me. So thus, this is going to sound harsh, but you need to hear this. Whatever they're tapped into with their orthodox religious view, they see nothing in Alex. So thus, maybe God is whipping their ass, yo. So understand, even though I'm saying, bro, step back from any type of verbiage that they should get it, but also step back and understand some are getting their karma. You got it? You got it? We know in our hearts some people are wicked that are immigrants, like my dad. I actually called him a bad immigrant today. Why? Because you came to America and you abandoned your son and you like literally rolled the carpet out for others while taking money from the government, being their translator, while pretending to like refugees. Dude, you need to understand what corruption is to even understand and translate what I said. That dude is fucking corrupt like a motherfucker. Do you understand what I said? He has been financed by the system who's fucking killed millions of his fucking people, bro. Then he's gonna fucking go in the school system run by the Zionists and be like, "I'll help you, Afghan refugees." Good, fucking feels great to have money, bro. And then I'll be talking to him via text, going, Dad, they're actually planning for like. He's like, "You're a conspiracy." This guy Aziz in 2016 was going on Facebook. If this guy gets elected, Donald Trump, they're gonna put me and my family in a concentration camp in the Nevada desert and kill us. And I see that going. My dad woke up. Thank God. But no, he didn't. Hold my beer. Breath. It's a lie. I'll tell you why. Because he's not alone. He's not the only one lying to us. We'll sit there on Facebook and be like, oh my God, look at what's coming. The children. The children. There'll be this one new ager. She'll have this picture of one of those Hispanics who's getting rounded up by ICE, which is obviously heartbreaking. But this is how reptilian they are. They won't care about an adult who's like an adult version of the child. They'll be like, oh, the baby. Yeah, but have you guys become loving to those types of and it's the same thing. We love immigrants. Immigrants are welcome here. Bullshit. No, it's not bullshit. We love everybody. I just think you like to fight. It's just one of my thing. I don't believe that. So you like the immigrants, you love them, then you take them. What? No, you said you love immigrants. Oh, we love everybody. We have blue hair. We have purple hair. We're so inclusive to yourselves, then you take the Afghan immigrants. Don't put them in Texas. Don't put them in Ireland. Don't put them in Denmark. Don't put them in UK. Send them to Portland. Send them to every fucking place in America where they pretended to love them. Then shine the spotlight and show who the real racists are. What I'm telling you is the devil runs this world. And the devil is torturing those people. But at the same time that it's torturing those people, I'll come up going, hello, people. I'm half one of you. They're like, yeah, so num num num. I have a book. You, by the way, I heard you read this thing called Quran. Yeah, what about it? Well, in the Quran, there's like these guys. They're supposedly the good guys in your cosmology. They're called the Ansars. Have you heard of them? Never heard of them. Oh, so you never read the Quran? Oh yeah, I love the Quran. Yeah, but there are like these guys called the Ansars. Have you heard of them? No, never heard of them. Okay, well, even if they have, I talk about having a last name that's basically in their book and it goes way above their head and they don't give a fuck. They have some sort of an elitist alpha male, follow the leader, follow the fake, follow the piece of shit type of a system that we have. In other words, fake Christians, fake love and light folks, fake Muslims, and we can go on and on. And then let's not forget about the fake Buddhists. Let's just give them about 1 minute and keep going. A fake Buddhist is somebody who's really attached to the way that things are, but they'll say, hey, I'm not attached. I'm a Buddhist because it's way more socially acceptable to be a Buddhist, and pretend to be spiritual, whereas the New Age movement has a bad rap. Islam has a bad rap. Christianity has a bad rap. But Buddhism is like the safe spot. It's like, oh, we can do no wrong. We just sit here getting fat, sitting on our ass. We ain't fuck with anybody. Well, actually, that's not true. That's actually not true at all. There's plenty of people that are pretending to be Buddhists that actually are into the military, that are into guns, that are into destruction. They lean towards the imagery of the Buddhist so they could project that they're non-threatening. But in reality, they actually haven't studied Buddhism and that they're suffering from their desires to keep things a certain way. So we have people that are rich here in other places that are Buddhists who actually don't know anything about the non-materialistic path. And so, like with the other groups that I mentioned, they don't understand the main tenets. So when we talk about the fakes and phonies of the dominant demographic of this culture, also known as the reptilians, as it appears to be right now, nothing that I'm saying in my mastery and maturity is getting through to them. My mom's gotten worse. My dad's gotten worse. They're out of touch with reality, and they no longer have memories of the past. Everything that I say that happened in my childhood, my parents are now calling me a liar, along with jealous. They're all straight up looking at my face and they're going, "You're a liar. You're nothing. You're not protecting women. You're just this broken person." And these were my people in my inner circle. And that's what people don't understand. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. So the topic of this was letters to my father. If and the same thing goes for everybody else. Letters to Black America, letters to white America, letters to my father, letters to my mother has been done to death. There's really no hope for her. She's just dedicated to, just being just like grandpa and her ancestors and calling me the racist one when she has literally benefited from this shit and took millions from daddy. She calls me racist when she's my mom. So if my mom's going to hate me in the end, so is everybody else. And I'm just going to accept it. I'm just going to accept being hated. I'm going to accept being killed. Okay, and I'm going to write books and I'm going to condemn you people. I'm going to condemn you people and I'm going to blame you people and I'm going to name you people and I'm going to do it in advance in my books. I'm going to say that I came to these places like Jesus fucking Christ. I said I had the future in my book and they won't even touch it. They won't even touch it. They won't even come to the podcast. I said I predicted all these things happening in 2025. They said, "Bullshit, dude. You're a weakling. You ain't shit. You're just loud. You're just an asshole." These people don't understand what love is. And they don't want to have fun. I want to have fun. They're actually doing everything to prevent fun, to prevent love, to prevent intimacy, to prevent the circle of meditation. It is by design division right here, right now. It's like that song. Now they have an opportunity watching my videos to say we're not like the rest. Like I said yesterday, a teacher who used to teach in Crestone says, "You are intelligent. You should be a teacher. These women here don't support me. These women here don't trust me." It's the men are going to have to get together and go, he is being targeted by women that are racist. They actually aren't giving him a chance. They really are fake and phonies. And it's only males that will see something in this man. Whereas the women are thrown off by the fact that he can see them for what they are, haters of what he is. That's why none of them are perturbed by what's happening in the world news and they don't want to hear about it. It makes them ill. It makes them sick. And that's all I need to know. That's not normal. That's not healthy. That's not spiritual. It's spiritual and it's healthy to face reality as it is and to be caring and loving, not to be exclusive and say we only love people who are calm and quiet, who drink alcohol. That's not spirituality. Okay. I don't drink alcohol for a reason. I'm not going to get sucked down. And these people around me are going to get housing. These people around me are going to be lifted up. I'm the one who's going to be homeless throughout the winter. I'm the one who's going to be left behind. Everybody here will eventually be pulled in because they're one of them. They're one solid bloodline here in Crestone. I will be the one who will be continually pushed out to the outskirts of the Badlands. And then as I continue to be pushed to the outskirts of the Badlands, I continue to be the threatening person, the only person who looks like a migrant. These people don't have the brain cells or compassion to realize that Facebook is a neo-Nazi platform making anybody look migrant to look like a person about to murder you and commit terrorism. These people around me have zero compassion. They do not understand what the internet is. They do not care, and they do not want to know that the internet is targeting people who look different. Okay, and they won't also, this is also what makes them evil. This is how we know it. They won't speak behind the scenes and whisper going, that guy needs help. That guy needs love. Be nice to him. They won't do that. That's how we know we're dealing with evil people. They won't conspire behind the scenes to help me. They won't tell people what the website is. They won't do anything behind the scenes for months that I'm around them to say, give him a chance. He says he teaches meditation. They will do nothing behind the scenes to elevate anything. They'll never show up at the subscriber count. They'll never pick up the book. They'll leave the book at the table, just like they did here at the local library. And this is what a liar she is at that library. She'll sit there to confuse us non-white guys into thinking that she's against racism. Oh, I was somewhere where there weren't any white people. I had such a great time. That's the furthest thing from her true self. When you look at her true associations, when you look at the people that she dates and their involvement in the military and the people that they killed, she's not being authentic and telling the truth. And so this is basically a hornet's nest of people that are deceiving so that they can be on the baka and benefit from the land that's been stolen and reappropriated so many times. And that's the thing that they don't understand. You're not going to be able to take over the whole earth and just wipe us out. We are spirit. The earth belongs to us. You're working with bad spirituality. You're working with extraterrestrials, and you're sitting down with other people. There was yesterday a lady who was over here who sat next to me who actually knew me from the internet, who got up away from me just knowing that I was being oppressed. Talk to you. And you've talked to plenty of people who hate me. You've talked to plenty of people who hate me here. Okay. And so she's sitting there, and I sit there and I talk to this lady who knew me by name. This lady knew me by name. Okay. And she sat down next to me at the table, and I told her about these things. But because she knows that I don't have, no, I'm working on something. I'll fit. No. Everybody's against me. Nothing's going to change that. Okay. Nothing. You don't need it. I don't want to talk to anybody. Okay. Nobody's intervening at all. Okay. I'm condemning this whole planet. Forget it. Okay. I'm not having fun while I'm getting wiped out and getting killed at all. No, I'm not having fun knowing what my history is and knowing what my future is and knowing I have where to go and nowhere to rent. No one's helping behind the scenes saying he's got money. He'll give you money. He'll give you money. He needs to rent. Nobody, you're liars, man. You're not working behind the scenes to tell anybody I need help, man. And you're connected with plenty of people who have judged me personally. That lady was sitting there, gets up going, nobody's going to help you in this town, knowing that you care about those people. When she thinks migrants, she thinks rapists. She loves Donald Trump. So you have these hippies here that are down with Donald Trump, man, that are waltzing around me. I'm not going to put up with it, man. It's Nazi shit. These people are totally down with Donald Trump and Donald Trump's followers, and it's disgusting. And I'm going to connect with the real men of Crestdown, and we're going to confront this female Nazi shit. Okay? That's all they want. That's all they want is to continue to celebrate these bad, worthless pieces of garbage. Okay, that's all they do here. Okay, don't listen to demons. Don't talk to demons. Don't let them come in and put you down for what you're doing. Okay, what I do is stand up for children, and I stand up for others, and they don't do anything for me. They don't ever intervene when I'm being abused. They don't ever stop the abuse. They don't ever say, leave that guy alone. They sit back and they watch it for their entertainment purposes. So let's get back to my main topic, which is my father. Letters to my father, because my father won't listen to me. I've got to sit there and write him a letter. Okay. And we can address it to the comedian that was on Saturday Night Live. That's what we can do. And then as I use this as an exercise and I put it out there on Amazon, essentially, it's going to get out there to the people that need to hear it. And it's going to earn their respect, because we have far too many people out there that are letting other people speak to them and put them down and try to lie to them and tell them that they're cared about and tell them that they're loved, where they don't actually be the change that they claim has occurred in this world. They sit there to continue to have associations with people that I know are evil because they have a past and I don't. That's like that scene from Casino where De Niro is basically being persecuted for being the Jew. And he's saying, you have a pass, you have a pass, you have a pass, but I don't have a pass. And it's like that speech. And that's what I'm saying. My father needs to get it together in his last years, because these people, the problem is they don't fear God. And the same thing goes for my mother.